The soul mirror, how the universe has already marked you. The first time I realized I was different, I was 9 years old. I remember sitting in the back of the class and watching a girl get ridiculed until she cried. No one moved, not a single person. But something in me burned, not just with sadness, with rage. I didn't know then, but that was the moment the universe whispered, "You are not here to be silent."
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
I didn't defend her. I stayed quiet. I took that rage and buried it, but it never left. It followed me into my teenage years, into adulthood, until I began to see the patterns, the signs, the synchronicities, that I was being prepared for something bigger than comfort, bigger than success. I was being prepared to become a chosen one. And so are you. You're not watching this by chance. You're watching this because your soul is trying to wake you up. The world is full of people sleepwalking through life, but you feel different. You felt the pull in your dreams, in moments of silence, in the way you can't ignore the suffering of others or the darkness within yourself. That's not a flaw, that's a sign. But how do you know? How do you really know if you were chosen, and if so, chosen for what? That's what we're about to reveal. There are 7 critical signs, and not just signs for fun. These are soul-level indicators. They are decisions made by the universe through your experiences, your pain, your gifts. And each one reveals whether your true archetype is rooted in light or in dark. Let's begin with the first. But before I tell you, I want you to ask yourself something that may shake you. What would you do if the truth about your soul scared even you? Because that's what we're about to find out. This is the first split in the path. Light chosen ones feel deep sorrow in the face of injustice. Their instinct is to heal, to comfort, to bring peace through unity. They want to raise the frequency of the world by restoring balance with love. When they see violence, they imagine embracing the aggressor and the victim, healing both. Dark chosen ones, however, feel fury. Not mindless anger, surgical fury. They feel compelled to act, to intervene, to destroy what destroys. They don't always speak. Sometimes they just watch, calculating. But inside, they're making a silent vow. This will not happen again. Not on my watch. Neither is better. One is a healer, the other a protector. But this is the first sign. When you see wrong, do you feel sorrow or fire? This one is sacred. Light chosen ones suffer in loneliness because their power comes through connection. They feel most alive when sharing, giving, loving. Isolation feels like a prison, but through it, they learn depth, compassion, and the true meaning of presence. Dark chosen ones thrive in solitude. Their power awakens when no one is watching. They are sharpened by silence. Alone, they hear the voice of their deepest truth. But they must be careful not to confuse solitude with avoidance. Their strength is forged in silence, but it must not stay there. Ask yourself, do you fear loneliness, or do you crave it? Everyone hurts, but not everyone transmutes. Light chosen ones feel pain like a mirror. It reflects back to them the pain of the world. They cry not just for themselves, but for others. Their tears are prayers. Often, their healing comes through expression writing, speaking, creating beauty from sorrow. Dark chosen ones, on the other hand, swallow their pain. They sit with it. They don't try to fix it, they become it. They descend into the underworld of their own suffering and emerge with weapons of wisdom. They don't want sympathy. They want transformation. They don't just survive their pain. They weaponize it. Which are you? Do you release pain through love or alchemize it into fire? This might be the deepest one yet. Light chosen ones fear their shadows at first. They don't want to harm others. They fear their own capacity for rage, envy, or selfishness. But once they embrace their shadow, they become radiant. Their light becomes real, not performative. Dark chosen ones? They're not afraid of the shadow, they are the shadow. They live in it, breathe in it, understand its language. Their challenge is not to embrace the dark, it's to not get lost in it. Their strength lies in knowing the depths of darkness without letting it consume their soul. This is the sign that separates the archetypes most clearly. Do you fear the dark within you, or are you learning to wield it with integrity? Let's not pretend. Power is not evil, but how we relate to it reveals everything. Light chosen ones often reject power at first. They fear becoming corrupt. They worry that being too much will hurt others. So they dim themselves. They stay small. But when they awaken, they realize that their light isn't just healing, it's commanding. And they begin to lead with love. Dark chosen ones? They're born with a hunger for power, but not for domination. They crave influence, impact, change. They want to reshape reality. The danger is becoming addicted to control. But in their highest form, they use power to burn away illusions and awaken others. Ask yourself, do you shrink from your power or do you crave it? And either way, why? This is where the chosen ones begin to break away from the world. Light chosen ones tend to question authority gently. They challenge the system with love, with protest, with healing. They become reformers, truth-sayers, spiritual guides. Their rebellion is subtle but powerful. Dark chosen ones disrupt. They are revolutionaries, mystics, chaos bringers. They don't just question the system, they dismantle it. They are often misunderstood, feared, or labeled as dangerous. But in truth, they are the soul's immune system clearing infection through intensity. Do you speak truth to power gently, or do you break the system from within? This is the one that can't be faked. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you've read or how many spiritual retreats you've done. What reveals your true nature is what you become after your greatest loss. Light chosen ones emerge from tragedy still open, still loving. They may carry deep scars, but they refuse to close their hearts. Dark chosen ones rise from tragedy like phoenixes. They don't just survive, they become something entirely new. They are never the same again, and they don't want to be. Their pain becomes purpose, even prophecy. So I ask you, when you lost what mattered most, what did you become? That's the final sign. That's the one the universe watches. That's the one that decides. And now you're probably starting to feel it. On the clarity, the resonance. You're beginning to see patterns in your life that were never random, because none of this was random. You were chosen. And now you're being asked to remember. But this is just the beginning. The contract of the soul, why you were chosen before you were born. Before your first breath, before your heartbeat formed in the womb, before your name was ever spoken aloud, your soul made a choice. Not a casual, whimsical choice, a sacred agreement. A contract sealed not with ink, but with energy. You see, I'm not just talking about destiny like a story someone else wrote. I'm talking about design. You designed this. You chose your parents, your pain, your path, your purpose. And embedded in that design is a frequency, a soul coding that reveals whether you are a light or dark chosen one. You didn't come here to be random. You came here to become something, to remember something. And the moment you start to remember, that's when the contract begins to activate. That's when your real life starts, not the one you were handed, but the one you were meant to live. That inner unrest you felt your whole life. That's not anxiety. That's your soul calling you back to your contract. It's why you've never been able to fully settle into what others call normal. It's why you've always felt a little out of place, even in rooms full of people. Light chosen ones often feel this as a yearning, a deep ache to help, to heal, to make others feel seen. They were marked for love before birth. Their contract is to be the beacon in a storm, the hand that reaches out when others turn away. They were chosen to remind the world of its original design, oneness, beauty, grace. But dark chosen ones, their contract is forged in fire. They are born into chaos, betrayal, or deep spiritual warfare. Why? Because their soul knew it could handle it. They didn't come to avoid the dark. They came to master it, and in doing so, become the guardians of transformation. Their very presence sends a message. Nothing can break me, not even darkness itself. You may ask, but why would my soul choose suffering? And that is the question that separates the asleep from the awakened. Because suffering is not the punishment, it is the initiation. Before you were born, your soul saw the pain you would face and said, "Give it to me. I will alchemize it." And if you're still breathing, still here, still listening, it means you've already survived what was designed to kill your light or consume your fire. Light chosen ones are tested through heartbreak, abandonment, and the collapse of illusions. But every time they break, they shine brighter. Their contract is to bring light, not because they've never suffered, but because they have and still choose to love. Dark chosen ones are tested through betrayal, violence, and inner war. But every time they fall, they rise more dangerous to ignorance. Their contract is to bring truth, even if it burns. They are here to tear down what no longer serves and rebuild what will last for generations. Now, listen carefully. The contract of the soul doesn't expire. It waits. It watches. It whispers. And it will continue to pull you, challenge you, and stretch you until you say, "I remember," until you awaken, not just spiritually but missionally. You are not just here to vibe high and be peaceful. You are here to embody the force of your alignment, light or dark, healer or guardian, flame or mirror. But the real secret, the most powerful chosen ones are not defined by one path. They are forged by both. They have walked through light and survived the burn of their own shadow. They have sat in darkness and still remembered their name. These are the ones who fulfill the highest form of the soul contract. Not to choose between light and dark, but to become the bridge between them. And maybe that's what you were born to be. The final test: how to fully awaken the power of your chosen path. There comes a point in every chosen one's life when the signs are no longer enough. The dreams, the synchronicities, the strange sense of being watched by the universe, they're not just metaphors or coincidences. They are calls to action, to initiation. This is the final test, and almost no one talks about it because it doesn't look like a test at all. It looks like exhaustion, isolation, confusion. You'll wake up one day and feel like your old life doesn't fit anymore. The people, the goals, the routines, they feel empty. It's not depression. It's not failure. It's your soul shedding the false skin it wore to survive. And this is where the power begins to awaken. Because once everything false falls away, all that's left is you, raw, unfiltered, capable of choosing, finally, from truth, not fear. This is the moment when your alignment, light or dark, no longer becomes a question. It becomes a revelation. For the light chosen ones, the final test is not whether you can love others. That's your nature. That's easy. The test is, can you love yourself when you fail to save them? Can you still be light when the darkness wins one round? When your love isn't enough to heal them, when your truth is rejected, when your kindness is taken for granted, will you still choose to shine? That's your power. Not the healing itself, but the decision to continue being a source of hope, even when it hurts. Your awakening comes the moment you realize that your light is not a gift for approval, it's a gift for transformation. And the more you embody it without expectation, the more powerful it becomes. You are the lighthouse, not the boat. The flame, not the match. Your presence alone is an act of defiance against the world's numbness. But first, you must believe your light is enough even when no one sees it. For the dark chosen ones, the final test is equally brutal. It doesn't come as a battle. It comes as a mirror. One day you'll look at yourself and ask, have I become the very thing I was sent to destroy? That one question will shake your foundation. Because when you carry the energy of destruction, rebellion, and raw truth, the temptation to be consumed by it is always present. Your final test is not whether you can fight, it's whether you can feel. Whether you can still cry after the battle. Whether you can still recognize innocence in a world that taught you to expect betrayal. Your real power doesn't come from how many systems you've dismantled or how many lies you've exposed, but from your ability to destroy without losing your humanity. When you can look into the eyes of the enemy and still see a soul, that is when your power becomes unstoppable. You were not chosen to be feared. You were chosen to be respected. And that begins when you respect your own depth, not just your destruction. So now we arrive at the edge of the cliff, the place where the final decision is made. Will you step in? Will you stop asking for signs and start becoming one? Because that's what the world needs now. Not more seekers, more signals. People who are the sign, who walk into a room and shift the frequency without a word, who love so powerfully it heals timelines, who confront so fiercely it ends generational curses. That's you. That's what you're here for. But here's the secret no one tells you. Your path doesn't begin when you're ready. It begins when you say yes, right now. Imperfect, unsure, unfinished. The power you think you need to earn is already inside you. It's not waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to be present. So I ask you one final, soul-defining question. Will you live as if you are chosen, or will you keep waiting for someone else to confirm what you already know? Living as the chosen. How to walk the path with power and purpose. Now that you've remembered now that the signs are no longer just ideas, but reflections of your truth, what do you do next? Because awakening is not the end, it's the beginning. You've crossed the threshold. You're no longer just someone who wonders whether they're meant for more. You know you are. But knowledge without embodiment is just potential, and potential without movement becomes poison. What truly separates the awakened from the asleep isn't belief, it's practice. It's how you live when no one is watching. How you carry your light or dark alignment into the world with discipline, devotion, and daring. Being a chosen one is not about being above others. It's about being responsible for the energy you carry. You don't get to turn off your power when it's inconvenient. You don't get to blend in when your soul came here to stand out. You must walk with intention every single day. If you're a light chosen one, your power is in your presence. But don't confuse presence with passivity. You are not here to be soft in the face of injustice. You are here to radiate so fiercely that darkness cannot survive in your space. That means setting boundaries with grace. That means telling the truth, even when it trembles in your throat. That means leading with love, not because it's easy, but because it's what transmutes pain into peace. Your daily practice must be connection. Not just with others, but with your own source. Your breath, your body, your stillness. Meditate not to escape the world, but to charge yourself for it. Speak affirmations not to feel good, but to become good. Share love not to be loved, but to be love. Every act of compassion you offer is a ripple. Every moment you choose empathy over ego is a revolution. You don't need to fight the darkness. You simply need to shine long enough for others to remember they can too. If you're a dark chosen one, your power is in your precision. But don't confuse precision with cruelty. You are not here to destroy for pleasure. You are here to cut away what no longer serves. That means you must constantly refine your own truth. You must be willing to question your motives, your pride, your armor. Because your greatest weapon is not your anger, it's your clarity. When you walk into a space, people feel your fire. But your job is not to burn everything down. Your job is to illuminate what must fall and what must rise. Your daily practice must be sovereignty, not control, but command. Speak only when your words carry weight. Move only when your actions shift the field. Train your mind like a warrior. Study discomfort like a mystic. Every moment you choose integrity over impulse, you solidify your impact. You don't need to prove your strength. You simply need to honor the storm within you and direct it with purpose. But what if you are both? What if, like many of us, you feel the light in your heart and the dark in your bones? Then your path is the most sacred of all. You are the bridge, the one who can sit with angels and still understand demons, the one who can heal with a touch and protect with a roar. Your daily practice must be wholeness. You must wake each day and ask, which energy is needed today? You must learn the dance between compassion and confrontation, or between surrender and sovereignty, between love and law. You are not here to be balanced, you are here to be true. Some days you'll lead with light, some days with dark, but every day you lead with soul. That is your gift, that is your burden, and that is your destiny. So live it, speak it, walk it. Be unapologetically chosen. Let your life be the sermon. Let your actions be the altar. Let your pain become prophecy. Let your presence become proof. And remember this above all, the world does not need more people playing it safe. The world needs you fully activated, fully aligned, fully alive. The world needs the light to remind us of what's possible. The world needs the dark to protect what's sacred. The world needs the bridge to show us the way back to ourselves. So rise, not tomorrow, now.